right.
Hello, we are here for the Minnesota RØKKR Major 5 Champs press conference. We've got media on the line who are going to ask some questions of, this crazy weekend we just had, and also how the guys are kind of shifting focus now to prepare for champs in LA later this month. There's also people on our YouTube watching this live stream, so shout out to everybody who's watching live. The way this will work today is we're going to start things off. Brett Diamond, Chief Operating Officer version 1, he's going to just kick things off. And then for media on the line, if you want to ask a question, put your name and your outlet in the chat, and I will use that to unmute you and let you know when you're ready, when you can go ahead and ask your question. If you can please let the person, the player, the coach, Brett, know who the question is for. That will be really helpful so that we can get you the answer you're looking for. So without further ado, Brett, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Cassie, and thanks everyone for joining today. First and foremost, we're incredibly excited by obviously what took place over the weekend. Historic comeback. So proud of the players and coaches and what they accomplished. And really just wanted to say a few quick words before we get into the questions. It takes a special type of team and special individuals to come back from something like that and to fight through that level of adversity. And these aren't things that are, it doesn't happen by accident. It's not a coincidence. It doesn't happen by magic. It happens by the dedication and the hard work that these players and coaches put in every day, and the mindset that they have and the culture that Jake and Brian have built and the entire team has rallied around. So incredibly proud of what they accomplished all weekend long, obviously culminating in that win. And, what an amazing experience that was for everybody in our organization to get, the first championship for this organization, the first of many. One of the things that really struck me about this group was every step along the way over the weekend, every win, all of those wins were huge. But by the time these guys got back to got off the stage within 5 minutes, a couple fist bumps and, a little bit of celebrating, but 5 minutes later, they're thinking about, the next opponent and what comes next. And, I think that mentality really is what shone through throughout the weekend. So, incredibly proud of these guys. I'm excited about what this means for our organization. Watching the fans rally around the team, both in the venue. I mean, everybody watching the stream heard the reactions of the fans and heard the chants. That was an incredible experience. And at our watch party in Minnesota, we had about 125 fans that were there specifically to watch in the bar, and then another 150 or so that were at the bar anyway that really rallied around and started watching and started getting into it. And over the course of the weekend, we had over 500 fans at those watch parties at the bar in Minneapolis. So great experience to have all those fans with us for the ride, and hopefully more of that to come. So that's really all I wanted to open up with. Just excited to have the opportunity to have the guys talk about what took place over the weekend.
Thanks, Brett. Our first question is from Aaron Garst from RØKKR. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and then you can ask your question.
Hey, thank you very much. And congrats, guys, on a huge win. That was crazy. And I know Attach, you said after the game in the post match interview that you could hardly believe it yourself. You know, it was still hard. I don't know. This is a question for everyone. I wanted to ask, did anyone have an out of body experience or like just an unbelievable moment where you just didn't even realize what had just happened, either during the series or right after?
Any out of body experiences? Uh, I mean, I didn't have, I wouldn't say like out of body experience or anything like that. I mean, last night I was just, just thinking, like, I still, it's just kind of hard. Like, I always knew we'd like bring it back. Like, and like, I think all of us individually felt like we could climb through out of that hole, but it's just crazy the way we like, I'm happy we won, but I'm just happier with the way we did it is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling a similar way. Like I just
Like
feel
on to
like
the next kind of.
yeah, the way that everything happened, I feel like not that it was like planned or anything, but like I feel like it's like a little bit meant to be in a way, just because
It was like a movie, bro.
the way, yeah, like the way that it all played through and like the way that it ended, it was just like, wow, this really happened. And it just took some time. Like I was obviously really happy, but it took some time to like actually like seek in a little bit, like that, like we really did this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I felt like winning in that fashion, especially before champs, is so big because I mean we know like in our hearts now, no matter what hole we're in, like no matter
Yeah.
what deficit we're facing at champs, we can still do it. Because
Yeah.
I mean we've been in the worst
Down.
deficit of all time.
Yeah.
That's how The I worst. feel, like,
It'll
we've been down
never-
bad.
It'll
In the
never
best
be
of
it'll
five
never be worse
series-
than that.
in a best of 5 series down 0-2, that's nothing compared to being down
Yeah.
0-4
I mean,
in a
yeah,
grand final.
I follow
So-
so many different esports, and I have for like 15 years or so at this point, and I've never seen a team claw back from a hole like that before.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the one thing I'll add, like Aaron, it's a really good question. And I think the lack of out of body experiences that our entire roster is showing is a testament to the fact that being down 0-4, there was no doubt in everyone's minds that we could win 5 straight. It wasn't like we went down 0-3, 0-4 and people said, oh my God, we lost this. It was sort of like after those 9 maps were played out and we were holding up our figurative trophy, it was just like, wow, we should have done that in 5.
Yeah.
It was not, we expected to win even when we were down 0-4. And I think that's a testament to you guys.
Yeah, I'll add in too. Like it wasn't like an out of body experience, like everyone's saying. Like we're down 0-4. I think we all had confidence in each other, like bring it back. But like when we did it, I was like super hyped. But I also at the same time it was like more of like a shock. It was like, yo, we actually just did it. Like let's go. Like, but it wasn't like an out of body experience.
Yeah, to finish it all up, pretty much when we're going down 0-4, we had like a perfect weekend before that. We just were destroying teams from the winners round 1 up until that point. And so when we went down 0-4, I think we all kind of knew how good we were playing and we couldn't let it end like that. And the fact that we all just kept on fighting and were able to win 5 straight just kind of goes to show, because I think I even said it in the comments. I'm just like, this is the first time our back's up against the wall, the first time we're facing adversity this weekend. Now it's time to show them what we're made of. And I mean, we made the comeback, so we did show them what we're made of.
Sweet. Thank you all.
And for media,
Thank
you
you.
certainly can ask more than one question. So if you have another one that comes to mind, feel free to drop your name again and I'll make sure to get to you. Next up, Jack Marsh, GG Recon. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Jack?
Oh, apologies. I unmuted my mic, but not on the chat.
You're good.
So this is towards either Attach and Standy, as both the most experienced and the least experienced in the roster. First and foremost, can you summarize how it felt to be playing in front of a crowd and nonetheless the crazy Minnesota fans?
Kick it off, Eli. I'll go after you.
All right. So being the least experienced and going into my first major with fans, I think that like it was honestly like a great experience. Also knowing that like majority of our matches, like the fans were like cheering us on and majority on our side. I know it's not always going to be like that, but it is really like good knowing that the crowd was like behind us and cheering us on. Like it's almost like, obviously I want to do it for the team, but like the crowds almost made me think like I want to do it for like the fans too. Like I want to, you know what I mean? So it kind of gave me a little bit of a motivation when playing. And I also think that the way like the year went for me, like going from like online to like majors with no fans to majors with fans, like the transition has been like really good for me and like easing into it. So I think the way that I would summarize it is just like it was great. Like it's a feeling that you can't really describe, but in the moment, like you're just living up the hype.
Yeah, and then being, I guess, the most experienced with going to events and having like the crowds going crazy. I've definitely had some crowds go against me and some crowds root for you. So it's always great when a crowd's rooting for you. It just gives you like extra motivation that you hear the people and you see the people that want you to win so badly. Every time you do something great, they go crazy. So it's just you want to replicate those moments and keep doing them over and over again. And on the other side of it, when you have a crowd that's going against you, you want to shut them up. And the more they're quiet, the better you feel when you're shutting them up. But yeah, this crowd was amazing. And I think I was really proud of everyone in the crowd this weekend because before this, the people in the US weren't really given chance. They weren't really getting too hype. But I feel like with when land disappeared for a year and a half, they came back with a vengeance and they made sure to bring the energy this time. So I was really proud of them for that because whenever we go overseas to like London or we'll go into to France, the people over there go nuts, and so I've been wanting that to happen over here in the States, and yeah, they've been showing up. So I'm really excited to see what the future and champs holds.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
James Bassett, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello. This question was for Brian. So, as a coach, like you kind of touched on it a little earlier, but excuse me. As a coach, like when you see your team go 0-4 down like that, and then you see them bounce back in the way they did. Like, I mean, how does that make you feel? Like as you're watching it, like talk to me about that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like proud doesn't even accurately describe the feeling because I feel like it's just so much more than that. I mean, just the whole time, the resilience these guys showed and just like how confident they were, even being down 0-4. I mean, that's something you can't really teach players too much. Like they need to have that themselves. And I mean, that's just the mentality of winners right there. I mean, the whole series we were saying to ourselves, the first few maps favor them because in the best of 9, the team from losers or the team B gets to choose maps 2, 3, and 4. And map 1's always kind of a bit of a toss up, especially since we were coming in a bit cold. So we knew once we got toward the tail end of the series, things were just really going to swing in our favor, and we just never let it falter.
Oh, great, thank you.
Here, Fox 9.
Hey guys, congratulations on a big win. Question really for any of the players. I don't know if you thought about it at the time when you were down 0-4, but how much, if any, did you draw from the moment against Optic a couple months back where you're down, 3-1 and Lamar lines up 3 guys and you pull off an improbable win like that? How much did you draw from that to this situation where you were down, you backs against the wall and still able to come out with a win?
Is that just for everyone or?
Yeah.
Just any of the players really. They were like,
honestly, that situation was kind of just one of those one-off scenarios because we were down so bad. I mean, we were in a 1v3. I thought we lost personally, and then I saw Lamar get the 2 kills, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get traded by the last guy, but apparently got the 3rd one, and it was just an insane clutch, probably one of the craziest clutches of the year. But when we were down in the series, we didn't feel like it was over and we needed some magic to happen. We just needed to win one map at a time because we knew we were really good at the upcoming maps. And if we just go out there and play our game, we win one map, they're going to get more and more nervous. Each gunfight we win, each play or each rotation we hold, each S&D round we win. So we just need to get one on the board. And that kind of just kept building our momentum up to it.
Yeah, I agree with what Dillon's saying because even they went up 4-0 and it's like, I'm not taking anything away from them, but like they went up 4-0. Like who says that we can't win 5 maps right here either? You know what I mean? Like we 3-0'd those guys the last time we played them. And when it's kind of just one of those things that like the Lamar thing is that just kind of happened when it just kind of happened in the moment. And I really did not expect it. And I was mind blown, but being in like grand finals and being down 0-4, it's like, yeah, I was a little bit like sad that we were down 0-4, but obviously I didn't lose hope and I still had faith in everyone that we could really bring back the maps one by one. So
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't think we didn't think back to the Lamar situation. I think for me, if anything, I was thinking of like just comebacks I've made in the past. Like me and Dillon have been part of some crazy comebacks. So like in our mind, just like, yo, we've been here before. We've done similar things like this. Why not do it again?
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Tanner from Esports.
Hey guys, just wanted to ask Preston and Mike, when you have two sub players playing as well as Standy and Attach are, what does that do for your guys' confidence around the map? Just being able to, that they can break a lot of setups, and kind of what does that bring to you to be able to play your game?
You want to start that off?
Yeah, I mean, having two sub players doing their thing and performing as well as they are is like something you definitely need on a team. Just because, I mean, most of the top teams have two very good sub players. Obviously, you need everyone on the team to perform as well, but just having good sub players, people that are entering, getting good, just good kills for your ARs to set up, it just makes the game way easier for us. And I mean, to be honest, it was really, we just need to start working as a team more, and just using each other as much as we possibly could, and putting each other in advantageous gunfights. And once we figure that out, like they helped us get set up, we've been helping each other get set up. But Dillon and Eli played amazing. They've been consistent for the longest time now, so shout out to them.
Yeah, kind of touch on what Preston said. Like, if your subs are performing, the pressure you're applying on the map is ridiculous. I mean, you're in setups that are just a complete advantage when the other team's coming off spawn. Like, you have a good setup, and it allows really me and Preston to like really direct them around the map and to kind of slow our gameplay down and focus on, okay, who are we looking for? Who's like, where do we got to rotate here and things like that. So yeah, it just allows us to like really slow our gameplay down and also just kind of set up and direct them, and then just worry about factors that are like calling out spawns, calling out the block here. This like more so like communication and just kind of slowing down our game. I would say.
That's a good take.
So you're next.
Hey guys. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations, first off.
Thank you.
Second off, I know you guys have all kind of mentioned how you still had faith and your backs were against the wall, but you still thought you were in it. But kind of, watching it, it felt like there was a clear momentum swing. And I'm wondering, I think the first part is directed at Brian, and then the latter can be directed at whoever else wants to answer. But was there kind of like a halftime speech that cued into the comeback and cued into that momentum swing? And if so, did it involve some of those fans being early to leave? And then second off, for everybody else, kind of, or I guess especially for Eli, like hearing those fans start chanting, the arena felt pretty quiet in the beginning of the game, and then next thing you know, you guys are starting to make a run, and you're getting those USA chants, the Standy chants, the MVP chants. Did that crowd atmosphere play into the momentum swing for you guys?
Yeah, the thing with like the fans leaving, like when we were down 3-0, it really reminded me of I'm trying to remember the NBA game. I think it was like Heat Spurs years back when the Heat made like a crazy comeback. Everyone was like leaving the arena, and then Ray Allen hit that game tying shot to go to overtime after they were down a ridiculous amount, and then everyone was trying to like get back in the arena, but they locked all the doors and they couldn't get back in, and all those people missed out on one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history. So it was really giving me vibes of that. And the whole time just being down 0-4, I knew once we got to the later half of the series, it was just completely in our favor. So I was actually like really relaxed and calm the entire time. And I felt like the team felt the exact same way. Like we play all these best 11 practice scrims all the time, and we've won countless ones of those, like 6-0 and stuff like that, won a bunch of maps in a row. So, I mean, this is no different than that. I mean, we just kind of go in the mindset to do everything the same way we do it in practice every single day. And that's something we struggled with earlier on the season, where we were relatively good in practice, but when it came to matches, we would just change some things up. And I think the past like few weeks, we've really gotten a rhythm of just keeping things 100% consistent of how we're practicing every single day and translating that perfectly into our matches. So, yeah, I mean, we just had to believe in each other, have some trust, and The rest is history.
right.
To bounce off
Appreciate
that,
it.
since you're kind of talking to me about the fans, just hearing those chants, honestly, like I kind of answered earlier, like it's just like a motivational kind of thing as well. Like when you're kind of going down and like also seeing everyone leave, like I definitely wanted to prove them wrong and also like show that like, hey, they're leaving, but like they might miss out on history right here. But hearing the fans like chant my name and stuff, it almost like I was confident the whole time, but it almost like it boosted me a little bit. It made me like a little bit more confident and just made me have no doubt in my mind at all. Even though I didn't really have any doubt in the first place, but having the crowd back you, it's just like it's a feeling that like it makes you feel like you're the best almost in a way. Like it truly does.
Did you feel like unlocked? Because in terms of your play, it kind of felt like in the beginning, you were playing well and you're on top of your game, but then the crowd start chanting, and next thing you know, you're kind of stringing kills together. It was kind of like, all right, this guy's unlocking a little bit.
Yeah, so I think that the first few maps, like as a team, like and a little bit individually, like our mental like wasn't fully like zoned in, or like we weren't fully like individually mentally like in the game, and also as a team like working together. But as every map went on, we were slowly like we knew that we were messing up, like we knew what was going wrong. So like after every map we were slowly like climbing back, like this is what we need to do better, like we need to do this better. And eventually like starting to hear the crowd, I think that gave energy for all of us. And I mean, we just turned up.
Got you. Appreciate it, guys.
Aaron, you can go ahead and unmute.
Oh, this one's for Dillon. I wanted to ask during that round 9, the last match, Search and Destroy on Raid. It was you and Priestahh against Kleenex. When Priestahh goes down right then, you get the trade. I wanted to ask what was going through your head during that little, like, I don't know, 20-second, 30-second stretch right then?
Yeah, it came down to a 2v2 at the end, and Preston was just finessing in Tiki Hut, staying alive. And then when I killed Cammy, it was down to a 2v1, and we knew the bomb was down. And then Kleenex just kind of had to play in that area to get the bomb and play around there. And in the comms a little bit, I was like, yo, Preston, I could check bomb. But Kleenex kind of caught Preston off guard and got the kill on him. And he had enough time to actually plant. So I was like, shit, this guy might try and plant the bomb, and it's going to come down to a weird 1v1.
I kind of trolled. I'm not going to
But then
bro, the comms were so funny. I was
he's like, yo, we can't plant. Oh, shit, he could plant.
No, we said so quiet too.
I was like, oh, we can.
We were like,
But then he just ran at me and I killed him. And then after we killed him, obviously we won. And I just stood up and started yelling and felt like I was gonna pass out after from just standing there yelling. But it was just a crazy moment. And we just had so much momentum in that game 9 that it felt like we were winning no matter what was happening. So whether he planted, I had to win the 1v1, I would have. We were just feeling so good.
I love that. You would have won that.
Right on. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Jack,
I was testing you, though.
Yeah.
He
Under pressure.
Hey guys, Jack again. I guess I asked my last question towards Eli and Attach. So I guess this one is towards like Mike and Preston, and maybe Brian if he wants to jump in. But I guess going into each fixture at stage 5, you were arguably underdogs in like every round. But now with like a championship under your belt and going into Worlds, do you think that underdog status has gotten teams will step up an extra 10%? And if so, how will you combat that?
I think teams are still gonna like underestimate us, even though we just won. I think teams obviously now see that we're really good and we can win. But I think for some reason in people's eyes, they're still gonna think less of us. Maybe not as a top 3 team yet. I think teams are still gonna think of it like FaZe, Optic, Dallas, all them like still above us. So I think teams will be trying a little bit harder when they play against us, but it's still almost like we're underdogs. It's weird.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as Preston. I'll let you go in a second, Mike. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
But yeah, it still feels like going into these series at champs, we're kind of the underdogs. I think FaZe is still the obvious favorite. So if we end up matching against them, I think the vast majority of people are still going to put it on them to take that series. Similar for Toronto and Dallas. So even though we got this win under our belt, it still feels like we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. And then people are still doubting us a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, going into every series over the weekend, everybody counted us out. first series versus FaZe, the following versus Dallas, even the series versus Toronto where we had our that 3-0 map count, and then going into the grand final. I mean, even in that, I'm sure majority was like they're still not going to win. And then once we went down 0-4, I mean, you know how the side thought. So, I think going into champs, like Preston and Brian both said, people are still going to underestimate us, but I do think teams will prep a lot harder versus us. So I think my mentality going into these weeks leading up to champs is to really just go like 110%, improve and keep those consistencies. I'm gonna wake up, keep doing the same thing, keep doing our thing as a team, and put on a show. So
If I can just follow that up with, I guess there's like a lot of confidence in the side now. And you've heated up at the right time. How important is it to go into champs with so much confidence? That's targeted anyone.
Oh, okay. Going in, I mean, this is literally the perfect time to make improvements and start heating up. Because if you do it in the beginning of the season, it's really hard to maintain that level of play throughout the whole season. That's why you'll see teams dominate for like pretty much the whole season in Call of Duty and then fail at champs, the most quote unquote most important event. That's because that's what everyone remembers. If you win the world championship, that's what they remember from that year. They rarely remember the other stuff unless you do some remarkable things. So we're just glad that we all put it together right before this, and we got to keep going and keep doing what we were doing and improve for 2 more weeks, and then show up to champs and hopefully put on a great show again.
Yeah, to bounce off Dillon real quick, we obviously showed that we can win, and I think everyone on the team has the confidence and knows that we can, like, we are winners, like we have the potential and ability to win. So I think it's just about like these next 2 weeks that we absolutely do our best to take our game to the next level, because we know that we can win, but we also know that we're not like the best in the game. We still have a lot to learn and a lot to improve on. So I think it's just all about getting our gameplay to that fine tee. So come champs, we're ready for everything and prepared.
yeah, and to touch on like kind of what we said earlier, you can't really be not confident at all. I mean, like considering we came back from 0-4, so I mean, just that deficit alone just shows the kind of team we are and what we could come back from. So that alone, with the gameplay that we already have as a team and building on that going into champs, I'm just excited for it. So
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
James, go ahead.
Hi again. This one's for Attach and Priestahh. You know, like you guys have been around the block for a while. You've each had your own share of like memorable highlight reel moments over your careers. So I was kind of wondering, like, for both of you can go whichever order. Like, where does this moment, the win, rank amongst like all your like moments throughout your career?
This is all you, Preston. I'll go after.
I mean, it's definitely up there. Like, this is probably at least in top 3. I mean, we've been a part of some crazy moments. If not, it might even be first, to be honest, just because of how crazy of a fashion it was being down 0-4 and best of 9. I mean, I've had crazy comebacks before, but a lot of them weren't in finals. This one was in finals. I know the event me and Dillon won back in World War II was pretty crazy too. So like those 2 series are definitely up there for me.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely going to take some time to set in. But it's probably going to be number 1 because of the fashion it went. We not only went down 0-4, we were getting destroyed. So it's not like the team, like with the matches were close and we just started like getting some wins. Like we were getting destroyed.
Trades.
And then we turned it around and started piecing maps together and ended up pulling it off. But yeah, like Preston said earlier, we've had some insane comebacks in World War II. Champs, season 1 playoffs where we had to win 2 best of 5s. I had some crazy comebacks in like AEW when I like did a 0-3 reverse sweep versus Epsilon to make it to the finals, then beat Optic in another 2 best of 7s. But I feel like this one is just probably going to be number 1 because of the competition at this day and age. Like people think it's so hard to win in Call of Duty right now. There's so much talent, and the fact that we were able to just kind of run through that bracket and then do that in the finals is just miraculous.
All right, great. Thank you.
Pierre, you're up next.
This question is for Mike. Mike, what was it like for you, especially on Sunday, earlier in the year when you're taken out of the lineup and then put back in and then playing the way you've been playing, and then for it to kind of culminate into an epic moment like that? Just what has it been like for you these last couple of months?
The last couple of months has been it's been really strange for me individually. I guess for like the community and the world as a total, I would say. Yeah, I don't think too much about like me being in challengers, and I think, but I do think that moment was really good for me, considering like when I first started competing, I started in open bracket, did my thing there, but going back and like trying to like lead the team that I was playing with and those players and trying to like teach them and get them all on the same page and like have that system, I think was really important for me to like try to just develop that for myself. So yeah, coming back to this team, I was obviously super confident. Just given, I mean, I've already played with Dillon. I played with Preston for 2 years now. And then I knew how good Eli was because I was obviously watching all the matches still. So yeah, I was just excited to just play my part and to really build something here. And yeah, just the way it's hard to put in words. Like it's hard to even like form sentences with like my emotions at the moment. But what I would say is I'm just super proud of myself is all I can really say right now.
I like that.
I'm just proud of myself.
And
I gotta keep it moving, bro.
Let's go, Mike.
I also want to follow that up a little bit and just say, like, ever since Mike came back into the lineup, he really stepped up as an in-game leader for the team, especially in S&D, where he's pretty much making our play calls almost every single round. And just seeing how he's grown as like an actual leader inside the game, crazy change out of him. He was definitely a bit more like soft-spoken before, didn't really take charge or command the troops a little bit. And just in our hard points, our controls, and the S&D especially, he really took that leadership role by the horns and has been running with it ever since. And I think that's a huge reason why we're as consistent as we are when it comes to matches now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go one step further just to sort of conclude on this note. Like that comeback you guys saw on Sunday doesn't happen without any of these guys, right? Like everyone stepped up and bailed us out of scenarios that an average player would not have. But Mike in particular took control of the comms. To Brian's point, like Mike got up on his horse and literally led troops into battle for 5 maps straight. And he's probably too humble to admit that himself. So
I had to remind him of his signature saying, when we were down in the mud. Wise man once said.
Charge, baby. Like,
shout out Mike.
Keep moving.
Okay, Tanner,
Some
you're
wagers
up.
in the chat.
Wanted to direct this more at the coaches and Brett as well. Obviously, talk about a lot of pride in your guys to be able to come back. But one thing that I thought was really cool was to be able for them to step back, recognize, how defeated their opponents were, to kind of take a moment to show grace and sportsmanship. What does that make you guys feel knowing you put this roster together and just how they handled that? Because I thought that was really cool from an outsider's perspective.
I guess I'll start. I mean, seeing that, and I love that it got shouted on social media that in the midst of the hype, for Dillon to kind of take a step back and calm everybody down, and then in a very composed way amidst all the hype, walk over and do the solemn fist pound of the vanquished opponent. I mean, I think that says an enormous amount of the character of each of these players, right? And I didn't notice that in the moment, just from where my perspective to the stage, but I certainly saw that part of it in social media. And I was really proud to see how they handled that, the sportsmanship with which everybody handled that moment, for sure.
Yeah, just to follow up a little bit, I think like the character, the class, and the respect everyone shows on this team is a big reason why we are reaching the level of success that we're at right now. Just everyone having respect for each other, having trust for each other, whether it be their teammates or their opponents. I think it's a big staple of our team. I think is like the best way to put it.
I'll add too, building on it. One, and I touched on this a bit in my opener, but even before leaving the venue, multiple of these guys were already thinking about what comes next and talking about champs. And again, that just gets back to the mindset that everyone on this team has, and organizationally, couldn't really, that's what we love to see.
Yeah, and I think it's something. I think we were even talking about it today. Is like we all put ourselves in their shoes, like, and we know how that probably felt for them. Like beside our hype of and like excitement of winning the event, we're like, dang, like we know how that feels probably for them, and it's just something like you got to feel for it because it's like we've been doing the same thing as them, like. And if that was us, like we would be feeling like upset, sad, super down, like not want to be on social media and anything. So, I mean, big shout out to Dillon for like in the middle of the hype, like telling us like, yo, calm down. Let's go say GG's to them. Because honestly, I wasn't even thinking of that in the moment. I was too hyped up. So like
Yeah.
the fact that Dillon could do that, I mean, it says a lot about Dillon.
Class act out of you, Dillon.
Good guy, Dillon, man.
I'm a gentleman. You know me.
The gentleman.
For sure.
Can learn a lot from the narrow Dillon.
Okay, we got one more question, then we'll wrap up. Before I call on you, Aaron, just so all the media know, this will be on demand on the RØKKR YouTube channel, so you can access this video once we wrap. Okay, Aaron, you're up next.
And I think I got the perfect question to finish things off. What's it going to be? Is it going to be the Minnesota Miracle, Minnesota Massacre, Minnesota? What do you guys say? I thought Maven called it the Minnesota Massacre on broadcast. What kind of name hits right for you guys?
I like the Miracle.
Nice.
Yeah, see, I don't know if massacre is really like the right phrase.
That's
for it because we were down bad 4-0. I think a
You're
massacre would be Toronto if they closed down
They
that
5-0'd us.
We were about to get massacred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miracle's kind of overused, and it's not a like we said, it's not an
Miracle-
accident. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I was gonna say
know?
I like Miracle, but I don't entirely just
But,
because even though we were down 0-4, just given the maps we had left, we just knew if I just in my head the first step was winning that Miami. I was not about to get 5-0'd in a grand finals, and once I knew it was that Garrison standoff, APOC good side raid last map, which we won against them the previous series. It was so doable. So Miracle, I don't really agree with.
What about the Minnesota Marvel?
That one's not bad. I kind of like.
I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, hear me out on this one. The RØKKR Resurrection means Eli was kind of on his zombie thing all
I like
weekend.
that.
Too.
I like that.
That's a good one.
It's like it wasn't necessarily a miracle.
Resurrected from the
Like,
grave.
it was a miracle, you could say, but
It was calculated.
It was
Yeah.
calculated. I mean, after every
Calculated
map we
miracle.
lost, we were going to the bathroom. We were talking. We were saying what we weren't doing right. There's a lot of variables. Then it was Jake coming on the mic. It was Brian saying his words on the mic. So it was very collective. Like Dillon said, very calculated on that clawback. So
Yeah, there was more said backstage as well when we were kind of taking those longer breaks in between maps.
taking longer breaks. We were looking over maps, things like that. So there was definitely very calculated. That comeback.
Right on. Thanks for the answer, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much to all the media who joined. Thanks so much for anybody and everybody tuning in online. And thanks so much to the RØKKR players and coaches and Brett for making time. Congratulations to all of you. And we will see you all at Champs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.